Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy weekend. Happy Saturday. Hope that you're doing well today. Hope that you're good and safe in your part of the world. I'm so grateful that I get so many viewers from all around the world, but it also makes me concerned for everyone, you know? There's a lot of stuff happening in our world, and I always wonder if I have viewers there or if you guys are okay or whatnot. So I hope that everyone is doing well. Hope your families are doing well. But thank you so much for investing more time and growing your data science career and growing into the community and just kind of helping everything grow and helping all of us learn from each other. So thank you so much. Once again, I'm having challenges with my jacket, guys. My jacket and the collar. I gotta sort this out. If there's anybody out there who wants to give me a clothing sponsorship, let's talk. Once again, I'm having these collar problems. Today I'm wearing my Porsche jacket, one of my favorite jackets. But yeah, gotta sort this out, guys. I just saw myself on camera. So anyways, hope that you're doing well. For those of you that are new to my channel or to my chats, we ask everyone to introduce themselves. So please let us know your city, state, country, province. I'm adding it right now to the Instagram, so people on Instagram will also know. It's what we call a global roll call. It lets us know where you're from, getting to know a little bit about you. Keeps the chat professional, keeps everybody engaged, and just kind of, going through it all. So appreciate you doing that. Please let me know, the city, state, country, province that you're from. After that, I also do an opening note where I share some different thoughts with you, different ideas that might be going on through my mind. And then after that, I'm willing to take your questions. I don't have an agenda today. I think there's a lot of interesting things happening in AI that we can discuss. If you guys have some thoughts on things like the Tesla reveal or whatever Elon calls those things, right? I think there's a lot to unpack there. But I'm open for your questions. I'm open for whatever you guys want to talk about. But yeah, so please go ahead and start filling up my chat with your city, state, country, province, and we'll go from there. We'll just see where the chat takes us. That's what I love about doing this, guys. I never know what you guys are going to ask, and I like that. So yeah, we'll see where we end up. But for today's opening note, I really wanted to share something with you guys about how really happy I am with the conversations that we've been having over the last week. Over the last week, we've had a lot of general data science discussions here on the chat. And I'm really, really kind of happy about that. And it's really, the part that makes me the happiest is not only all of you participating and things like that, but also I'm really glad that I'm seeing a lot of critical thinking on your parts, right? I'm really glad that a lot of you out there are applying your own AI thoughts, your own takes on AI, and saying, hey, yeah, this is how I feel about this, or maybe I don't feel so great about this, right? So I'm really glad that all of you are kind of doing it in that way. That's a super valuable exercise. So what I'd like to encourage all of you is to think about how you can take that and start developing an article around that. Maybe not a long article, right? But I mentioned this briefly before, where writing a position paper, having an opinion, that's still a valuable skill for a data scientist, right? I mean, one, it lets you publish something. Two, it lets you work on your writing skills. And three, as I mentioned before, you're gonna get those questions, right? You're going to get those questions. You're going to be sitting at your desk in some company when you're a data scientist, and somebody's going to walk by your desk and say, hey, what did you think about, the latest release from Tesla or whatever, right? It's healthy and, I'm going to say even important for you to have an opinion in those scenarios, right? So A lot of you that are in my chat right now, I'm seeing some familiar names, attended this past week. So I want you to think about the different statements that you might have made this past week and think about how you can turn those into position papers, right? Like, yesterday we talked about the pilotless, AI, FSD airplane, right? Have an opinion, shape it into something that you can present, and write an article on it, right? It's totally okay to write a position paper. Not every article has to be a study, right? You can just present your opinion as a data science professional. That's totally okay. And it doesn't matter if nobody reads it. You don't even have to include it on your resume. I recommend you do. But even if you don't, that's okay, right? It's good practice. You're practicing the professional view of being able to create articles and being able to put yourself out there, right? So I want you guys to think about that, because there's been a lot of great discussion. This week has been fantastic for the discussions that we've had, right? So keep on thinking about that. Consider putting some sort of position article out there. I think that's very valuable. And keep on developing your thoughts. Keep on developing your positions, right? Not every article has to be a study. You can put your positions out there. Totally okay. And it's needed, right? It puts you out there as an expert, and there's really not a lot of data science experts out there, not quality ones at least, right? So I want you guys to all consider that, okay? All right, so if you're joining us late, please introduce yourself with city, state, country, province. We like to let people introduce themselves, join the community, be a part of the community. It keeps everything professional, and it's important in how you present yourself, right? I'll very rarely answer questions from people who just come in and ask a question without introducing themselves, right? Because it's just not good practice. So let us know where you're from, okay? Vithan says, I will get a seizure. Then maybe data science is not for you. Leo says, good morning. Leo, our good friend from New York City. How are you? Hope you're doing well out there, my friend. I bet it's still beautiful out there in New York City. Keshab, let us know where you're from, okay? Casual Economist, our good friend from Minneapolis, says, good morning. Casual Economist says, I had meetings Wednesday through Friday, right as your live started this week. You don't need a job. What are you talking about? You need this stream. You don't need a job. Why are you going to those meetings? You're wasting all your talent on those meetings. You need to be here. Hope you're doing well out there, Casual Economist. You let me know when I get my Minneapolis privileges back. So if you guys don't know, Casual Economist removed my Minneapolis privileges. Anise, our good friend Anise. Hello, everyone. Hello, Dennis. Hope you're having a beautiful day. It's an okay day so far. I gotta admit, I didn't sleep so well last night. I don't know why. But the show must go on, right? But I'm gonna try to make it a positive day here. Rex says, from a sunny and beautiful day in New York City. Good morning, everyone. All right, that sounds nice. What a nice intro. Thanks, Rex. Hope you're doing well out there. So shout out to Rex and Leo, who are my moderators. I don't think I see any other moderators just yet. But shout out to them for helping me out. If you guys see them, give them thanks, because they do help me out on a volunteer basis. So I appreciate them. Simon, our good friend Simon says, good morning, Dennis. Greetings from Colombia. Yeah, Simon, I think you were from Bogota, right? Let us know how everything's going in Bogota. I think it's, I'm going to guess it's probably still pretty warm down there. Because, they're so close to the equator, right? So I'm going to guess it's pretty warm down there. But let me know, Simon, how are things going in Colombia? Osama says, hello, sir. Hope everything is going well. Nice Porsche. Everything is going well. We're going to make it a good stream. So, Osama, thanks for being here. Yeah, I like this jacket a lot. I like it a lot. It has a nice convenient pocket up here in the chest, which I like. You know, it's a nice styling, right? You know, a lot of these like motorsport jackets tend to have like a big logo on the back, and I always thought that was kind of cheesy. Like, who wants a logo on their back, right? So I got this one specifically because it doesn't have a logo on the back. But yeah, you know, they make good clothes. I have a couple of things by Porsche. But the collar again, I gotta figure this out, guys. I gotta figure out this whole collar situation here. But yeah, I like this jacket, and it's kind of cooling down where I live, so I'm probably gonna be wearing this jacket more and more in the winter time. Leo says, "Oh boy, nothing better than trash talking Elon Saturday morning. Let me get my coffee." Yeah, guys, if you guys want to talk about the Elon reveal from what, Thursday night, I guess, we can definitely do that. Lots of stuff happening on social media about it. You know, Leo did share some thoughts with me yesterday privately, which I happen to agree with. So if you guys have any thoughts on the, I guess you could say it was like 4 different reveals that they did that night. You know, all around AI, basically. Let me know. Start lining those up. Fatima, our good friend from Meekness. Fatima, shouldn't you be in school? Don't you go to school on Saturdays? So Fatima, glad you're here. Hope that you're doing well. Actually, it's probably pretty late in Morocco by now, isn't it? I have no idea what time it is, but you're probably done with school. But hey, this is your second school here, Fatima. I bet you learn more here than those instructors. I'm willing to bet that. We're gonna call you DHR. DHR is from Mumbai. Welcome, DHR. I think it's your first time, so welcome. Glad you're here. Manoj, our good friend Manoj from Bangalore, India. How are you, Manoj? Hope you're doing well out there. Hope your family is good. Let us know how things are going in Bangalore. Hello, sir. Yassine from Tangier, Morocco. Yassine, my good friend and supporter, Yassine. How are you? How are things out there in Tangier? Let us know how your studies are going. I'm gonna guess that it's probably like midterms times. Like, do you guys have midterms? I think most countries have midterm exams, right? Like in the middle of the semester. I'm guessing you guys are getting close to that. Joseph, also one of my moderators. Thanks to Joseph. Happy Saturday, Dennis and everyone. Happy Saturday to you too. I hope you're doing well, Joseph. All right, so Leo says, I thought about posting on LinkedIn some brief articles about some new things, open source image generator pyramid, the FSD cars and planes. Yeah, sure, do it. I think there's benefits to that, right? I think there's benefits to, you know, putting an opinion out there. So yeah, Leo, if you're comfortable with that, I would totally encourage that. I believe it's pronounced Sufyan. Sufyan from Casablanca, Morocco. Nice, cool. So we got multiple cities in Morocco covered now. Yeah, Casablanca is beautiful. Love going to the beach there. So hope you're doing well out there, Sufyan. I can't remember if it's your first time or not, but welcome. Glad you're joining us. Leo says, help you for free. I thought I was getting credits for my PhD. Maybe. I could probably teach you more than most PhD classes. Maybe. Casual Economist says, good advice, Dennis. I'm not showing up on Monday. Going to start an AI company, AI cook Juicy Lucy's. Well, there you go. See, now you're thinking, right? Going to the 9-to-5 job, that's not thinking. You gotta start your own AI company, right? Like, I'm waiting for, you know, the Morocco people to come up with their Arabic LLM. I think there's potential in that, guys. I think you guys should get together. Mafood says data science in motorsports is so cool. I just discovered. In what way? Let me know. I mean, I've heard that, you know, like the F1 cars have a lot of telemetry to them, right? Like there's a ton of data. that they collect out of those cars. I mean, is that what you mean, or maybe something else? Personally, I'm not much of an F1 fan. Like, I can't get into it, you know? And to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of what they've done here in Las Vegas. A lot, for those of you who don't know, but a lot of the local people here who, you know, the residents in Las Vegas are really not happy with the F1 situation here in Las Vegas. And I think, you know, I'm personally not happy with it either. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's what you mean, or maybe other motorsports, but you know, happy to hear that, you know, if you take an interest in it. Personally, I don't, you know, but yeah, let me know what you mean, Mafood. AS said, "Hey Dennis, watching from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been a silent lurker on your page." Okay, that's creepy. Just kidding. On your page in some weeks. Thanks for imparting the stuff you do. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, and appreciate the introduction. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you know, just keep on coming back. You know, I understand that not everybody's comfortable participating. Not everybody, you know, some people are intimidated or whatnot, and that's totally okay. But I appreciate you. You know, participating and deciding to you know, let yourself be known. So welcome, keep on coming back, you know. And as far as me, I'm just trying to give you guys the best real world information, right? I don't make any false promises. I don't sell you any cheap courses, or, you know, don't have a Patreon or anything. If you want to support me, you know, I ask that you buy my book on Amazon. But otherwise, you know, you're in the right place if you want to learn real stuff. Hi, I am Emrani from Nairobi, Kenya. Cool. Thank you for the introduction. From Nairobi, Kenya. We got a couple viewers in Kenya. Would love to visit there someday, right? Would love to visit there. I've heard it's a beautiful country. So would love to visit Kenya sometime. All right. So Simon reminds me I'm from Medellin. Okay. I thought you were from Bogota. I apologize. The tech industry, it's outsourcing many people from Colombia recently. Yes, that's very true. Many experts expect a high market increase, which some locals don't appreciate at all. I'm assuming you mean local companies? Like local companies, right? I'm assuming you mean that they're going to get priced out of people who are going to want to work for them? Let me know if that's what you mean. Let me know if that's what you mean, Simon. Because I got some comments on that. I got some thoughts on that. I got a couple of thoughts on that. Yeah, let me know what you mean, Simon. I don't want to share, you know, my thoughts unless, you know, I validate my assumptions, right? But is that what you mean? That because of the outsourcing, people are earning more, so local companies can't afford the local people anymore because nobody would want to work for them, right? Let me know what you mean, okay? Okay. See guys, Fatima gets the viewer of the day prize. Fatima understood the assignment. This is my first school and the university is the second. Are you reading this, Casual Economist? This is your first job, and then whatever it is you do is your second one. See? All right, Fatima. Fatima's my VIP for the day. She understood the assignment. All right. Good to hear. That's a good point, Dennis. Would you think we want to invest our energy on creating our own company or looking for jobs? Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of opportunities, right? Oh, excuse me. A lot of opportunities out there. So if you think you have an inherently good idea, then you should be pursuing that, right? At the same time, you know, I realize, you know, people have bills to pay, right? You got to live somehow, right? So I know it's not for everyone, but, you know, do what you can, right? Or do what your situation allows you to do, right? So, you know, it just kind of depends, right? It depends on your situation. But some people do need the 9-to-5 job, you know, and I'm empathetic to that, right? But yeah, you just never know. You just never know what can happen if you start your own job, right? But it has to fit your situation. Casual Economist says, can you go into more detail about F1? What did they do to Vegas? Okay. Sure. So the thing that some of you might not know, excuse me, about Las Vegas is that there is a there's basically like a central corridor, which is known as the Strip, right? Which you see the pictures of with the casinos all lit up and the shows and all that. And then in the outlying areas, you have the suburbs where, people live, right? So the challenge is that corridor, like that Strip corridor, is actually very small. So when you have an F1 track, that's multiple miles, it basically takes up a lot of that corridor. So it basically shuts off a lot of the access that people would need to that area. And on top of that, F1 tracks are circles, so getting to the center of that is very difficult, right? And then it's difficult for, I think it's like 10 days that they shut down because, they have practice laps and they got to set up everything and, put up special barriers and stuff like that, right? So basically for 10 days, a large percentage of the entire, Las Vegas community is taken up. Because Las Vegas really is not that big and we sit in the middle of the desert. If you look on the map, there are no surrounding cities to Las Vegas. We're literally in the middle of the desert. No other cities are around. Phoenix really is the closest one, but that's like a 4-hour car drive, right? And then on top of that, it makes it difficult for a lot of hospitality workers to get to their jobs. Because a lot of hospitality workers typically take public transportation, right? They take the bus lines. But now the bus lines are altered, right? Because the bus lines can't get to the center of the city anymore, right? So that's troublesome, right? And then the part that I don't like is that F1 has bought up some land in that same corridor that I'm mentioning. And they bought up some land because they view this as a long-term race, long-term investment. So they bought up land that basically serves as the paddocks for the race, right? The problem is that we only use it for the race. So we use it for 10 days out of the year. But otherwise, there's this big piece of land and it looks like and they picked a white color, right? It's a white color and it's completely fenced off and it basically looks like an old parking lot with a bunch of garages. And to me it kind of looks like a ship because it's like multi-level and it just doesn't look very good. It's not very attractive. It doesn't fit the neighborhood that it's in either. So we have this entire like ugly looking parking lot that is only used for like 10 days a year. Like that's dumb, right? I mean, that's stupid. So for me, that's what gets me the most. And I'll post pictures on the Discord because I took some pictures of it. Because I really wish the city would do something about it. But we have this ugly looking parking lot with a ship in the middle of it that is only used 10 days a year. Kind of dumb, right? And also, I mean, I know I'm going to offend some people here, right? But to me, F1 is kind of like a dumb sport. Like the same guy always wins, right? And there's some people who have like literally no opportunity to win. Like, have you guys ever seen the betting odds on like F1? Like there's some people there who are like 300 to 1 because they literally have like zero chance of winning. So it's like it's not competitive, it's not fun. Like, why are we doing this? I just don't see the attraction. I know. There's a lot of people out there who love F1 stuff. Like, I get it. But I mean, like, the same guy wins, right? Same guy wins, right? No, there's some guys who have no chance of winning. Just not competitive. It's not fun to watch. To me, it's just kind of stupid. I don't know. I'm just saying. I know you're gonna argue with me. Go ahead. I'll take it. DSC from Twitch. Nice to see the Twitch engagement. Hello, I'm Drew from India. Thank you for motivating me. Well, thank you. Thank you, Drew. New users motivate me, so glad you're here. And let us know if you have any questions, but thank you for the introduction. Manoj says everything here is going good, sir. Thanks for asking. Cool, Manoj. Good to see you. Rex, thank you for being a good host over there. So Yassine tells me, yes, midterm exams are common, but in my case, we're gonna have to do projects every week, and the evaluation starts in the first session to the last project we deliver, which is usually the biggest. Okay, that's standard. Okay, that sounds like a standard course for a science course. Leo says Fatima is a girl. Yeah, absolutely. What somebody from Morocco can correct me on this, right? But somebody told me that there's Somebody told me. Fatima says, as a Moroccan, you should be aware of this. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, but so somebody can correct me on this, but somebody told me that there's a custom in Morocco, and I'm guessing this exists in some other Arabic country or Muslim countries, is what I'm guessing. They said that if you don't know a woman's name and you want to just address her, you can always call them Fatima, and for a man, you can always call them. What was the name for a man? I can't remember what it is for a man. Is it Mohammed? I think it was something else, right? But it's like an accepted social custom where if you don't know a woman's name or something, you can just always say Fatima, or for the man, I can't remember what the man is, but somebody in the chat can help me out with that. But yeah, I mean, Fatima is a female name in Arabic countries or Muslim countries. So Simon says, in general, there's a feeling that Colombians do not have the tools or the culture to assume a fast development and high expectations set from the competitors may leave us behind. Okay. That's a different take. That's not where I thought you were going with that. But okay. Do not have the tools to assume a fast and high competitors may leave us behind. Okay, by competitors, I'm assuming you mean like the people who are hiring you remotely, right? You're not talking about local competitors, because you earlier you had mentioned about how you were tying it to more people getting remote contracts, right? So let me know if that's what you mean by competitors. Please clarify that for me. Who in your statement, who exactly do you mean competitors? I'm assuming you mean foreign countries, but I want to validate that. Okay, so Yassine and Osama are correcting me. Mohammed, yep, that's what I thought it was, yep. Yeah, Leo, so you should know that. That's an accepted custom in Morocco. A woman is always Fatima, a man is always Mohammed. So yeah, to me, Fatima has always been a female because I knew that. And, we keep an open and inclusive chat. Females are my largest growing demographic in my analytics. So we welcome both males and females. So. Maybe someone can publish an article on how F1 affects local sentiments using sentiment analysis. Yeah, maybe. I got bigger things to do than that. But yeah, I am not a fan of F1. You know, somebody wants to change my mind on that, let me know. I just don't get it. Just doesn't seem like a fun sport. Fatima says, what did you think? Yeah, Leo. Yeah, Leo, come on. Get with the program, Leo. Simon says, for example, the AI, the virtual assistants developer, small tech business owners. Okay. Rizwan, welcome. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Leo says, never thought about that, to be honest, but I thought you were a boy. I thought Yassine was a girl at the beginning. Oh no, Yassine is definitely a man's name in Muslim countries. F1 is about to lose its appeal due to electric motors. That's not true, because there's already an F1 class for electric cars, Leo. That class already exists. In fact, it's funny if you've ever seen that one. And again, somebody can correct me because I'm not an F1 expert, but I've seen how the motors that they use can't last the entire race. So there's actually two drivers, or is it two drivers or two cars? I think they use two drivers, don't they? They use two drivers. So their pit stops is one car stopping and the other car taking off, like, you know, with like the new motor or the charged motor. Or maybe the driver switches into that car. I can't remember. I think it's two drivers. But again, somebody can correct me. But Leo, that already exists. They've had it for a few years. There's a traditional F1 and then there's also an electric F1. Yassine says Dennis is going to take away your Moroccan car. Yeah, Leo, you are not helping yourself with your Moroccan citizenship here. Rizwan says F1 equals speed at its peak. Really? Really? I don't know about that. Any racing class that limits what you can do and, you know, evens out the motors and the restrictor plates and all that stuff. That's not speed at its peak, right? I don't know about that. Vance, we asked people to introduce themselves, okay? Leo says, I think that's a I think you're addressing Simon here. I think that's a tendency in Latin America. They're not investing in technology in general, so the workers are not that skilled. Yes, you do have good people, but for more complex projects, it's a problem. Rizwan says, if you don't know a Muslim's man name, you can refer to him by his kunya. What is a kunya? Sorry, I don't know that term. My apologies, family. I need to learn about my new culture. Your new culture? What are you talking about, Lee? I thought you were Moroccan your whole life. That's hilarious. I mean other countries in similar positions. Okay. All right, Simon. Then I'm sorry, but I'm like fully confused. Because I thought you were trying to tie it back to this increase in remote contracts, right? Because that's how you started, right? You started by talking about the remote contracts. But now you're talking about just like competition within the country, right? So, I don't know. Kind of a mixed signal there. So I'm not sure if I'm fully like on board with your point. Because you started off by citing how there was an increase in those, right? So I don't know. Here's a reason why I'm focusing on that, right? Because let's assume there are more people hiring remote workers in Colombia, right? And obviously they're going to want to get like the best of the best, right? So there'll be some competition there. But I see an opportunity in that, believe it or not. So when you said that, and I was thinking about, the possibilities about that, I was thinking about something like Poland. Because Poland kind of went through that already, right? Poland was a very popular place to hire remote workers. I don't know. Like in the mid 2010s, like 2013, 2014, something in that time period, right? And there was enough of a presence or enough of those people getting hired where that leads to other positive things, right? That leads to those same companies now wanting to establish a presence in that city, right? Because somebody comes along and says, wait a minute, we've got 40 remote workers in Poland. Why don't we open an office there? And now you end up having an office there. Okay. Now somebody else sees that and says, wait a minute, our competitor is opening an office in Poland. Maybe we should open an office in Poland. And now you got 2 offices happening in Poland, right? And then there's more hiring there, right? And then that's how, an economy grows, right? And the local tech presence also grows. So that's where I thought you were going with that, right? Because I view that as a positive thing. That's an opportunity for Medellin, for Colombia, and so on. So I would view it as a positive if you're talking about, more remote workers being hired. Because I've attempted to do hiring in Poland. And some are skilled, some are not so skilled. But there is a lot of competition there, right? But that's a good thing because that means that there's local companies or foreign companies contributing to the local economy. That's a positive thing, right? An economy doesn't grow unless it has outside funds, outside investment. So that's where I thought you were going with that. Yikes on Twitch. We asked people to introduce themselves, so let us know your city, state, province, country. We ask people to keep the chat professional and let us know where you're from, okay? But anyway, Simon, that's where I thought you were going with that. But I think that there is going to be a lot of growth in AI hiring no matter what, right? So I think there's a lot of reasons to stay positive. So DSC, our new friend on Twitch, says, what emerging trends or technologies in data engineering and data science do you think will significantly impact the industry in the next few years? And how can we prepare to be at the forefront of these changes? Learn AI. Make AI part of your daily routine. The data scientists of the future will be heavily dependent on AI. I mean, that's it. That's all there is to it. So DSC, if you haven't attended our sessions on Sunday, you should, because that is when we go over, longer topics. It tends to be longer sessions, but we take an AI first approach to it, because I truly believe that is the future of AI. So So that's my best answer to you, right? Make AI part of your daily use because it's coming. It's inevitable that it's coming, right? So I hope that answers your question, DSC. Fanner, we asked people to introduce themselves, so let us know where you're from, okay? Let us know your city, state, province, all that good stuff. Rex, you're doing a great job being a host over there on Twitch. Thank you so much. Says I'm from New York. Okay. So Fanner says, I got a question. I'm kind of bored of data skibbity. Is there any sort of way to change it? What is data skibbity? Sorry, I don't know that term. Yeah, sorry, don't know the term. Please clarify. Monium, hi guys, hi Dennis. This is Monium from London, England. Welcome, Monium. This is not your first time, right? I think you've been here before. So hope you're doing well out there in London. Gosh, guys, I love London. What a beautiful city. I love that it's so cosmopolitan. There's so just people from all over the world. So I love that. I love that. So yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're here, Moni. If there's something we can help you with, just let me know. But like I said, I don't think it's your first time here, but glad to see you back. In India, it will still to come the 4 industry revolution. What's your take on Indians as you always talk about Moroccan? Well, I mean, I talk about Moroccans because they're very active in the chat and you know, just trying to help my audience. But as far as my take on Indians, I mean, it's no different than most other countries. Like, you know, I've had plenty of people based out of Bangalore and Mumbai. I think that India is a little bit more further along the learning curve in terms of how to work with foreign teams and things along those lines, right? But yeah, I mean, just trying to serve the audience, right? You know, with people ask questions about Morocco. I happen to know a little bit about the country, just a little bit to be dangerous. But yeah, that's it. No other reason for that. Mafood says, what would you say a thing that has the most ROI on landing an internship and standing out? Yeah, so Mafood, I'm not sure if you've seen my video on this, but I have an entire video on this, right? Rule of 3, right? For those of you that are new, haven't joined us, I have a rule of 3. And it's 2 components to it. First, make sure that you have 3 people who are going to be honest with you to review your resume. And sometimes it's not your parents. You know, your parents usually love you too much to tell you your resume sucks, right? So find 3 people that are going to give you really honest feedback and listen to it and do their changes. And then the second part of the rule of 3, have 3 projects that you did on your own. Write an article on them and demonstrate business impact. Write those articles, include them on your resume, include them on any communication you have with, you know, hiring managers or whatever. Walk into the interview, have them printed out, give them as a writing sample, and start presenting on those projects. Look, guys, every hiring manager out there in the world, no matter what job, no matter who they are, what they're trying to find out is, are you ready to go on day 1, or am I going to have to hold your hand? That's it, right? That's the metagame. That's the question you're trying to answer for them. Forget the job, forget the questions they ask you, forget all of that nonsense. The metagame is they want to know, I have this candidate in front of me. Am I going to have to babysit them, or are they ready to go? That's what they want to know. So answer it for them. Present yourself to answer that question. And that's why I recommend the 3 articles. Because now you've shown that you can do the work. Now you've shown that, hey, you know what? Don't worry about me. I know how to source my data. I know how to run my own experiments. I know how to, take my results and tell you about the business impact. That's what they're trying to do. So answer the question that they're asking you, right? I always get that where people say, oh, but they asked me this in the interview. Oh, but I heard they asked this. Forget all that. That's them playing you, right? The metagame is to say, hey, I'm walking in here and I'm going to show you that I'm ready to go on day 1, and it would be a massive mistake for you to not hire me. That's the whole point, guys. That's what you're trying to do, right? So I hope that answers your question, Mafood. Maniam says, this is my 2nd time here. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I might be old, I might have some gray hair, but I remember a thing or two. So Kill You Fanner says, it's a bit more complex to further explain, but there's tons of videos about Skibidi of the Unreal Engine. So what are we talking about here, Fan? Are we talking about like game development? I'm not an Unreal expert, but I know enough to know that it's usually used for game development, right? Or 3D development or whatever you want to call that. So yeah, I'm asking you the same question Rex is. Can you give us more context? Like, you're gonna have to guide us here a little bit more. Like, what's the succinct question, please? I mean, we're happy to try and help you, but I guess I'm not seeing the question. So Maniam says, I'm working on solution architecture to AI workloads, including systems architecture and computation requirements for AI workloads. What do you personally recommend? Extra good resources on that. I don't think that there is any external resources that can help you with that. I mean, it's easy for me to tell you, well, most AI companies, when you're doing an LLM, because I'm assuming you mean text AI, right? Like text gen AI, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it's easy for me to tell you, oh yeah, Gen AI or rather OpenAI offers multiple models. Some charge, and they all charge you per token. So look at your tokens and then determine what costs are acceptable to you, right? And then what workload that represents as far as hours, because they can give you a pretty decent hourly estimate, right? If you tell them the number of tokens, right? So that's the easy answer, right? But the more complex answer has to talk about the quality of your data, right? And by that, I mean the quality of your source data, as well as the quality of the data you're going to use for training. Those are 2 completely separate things, right? OpenAI recommends that data with less than 30 tokens is not good for training. Okay, so now you got to drop that. What proportion of your data is that? Right? So yeah, so I mean, what I'm really trying to go for, and excuse me that I forgot to say this, is that I can tell you about the costs and the tokens and those calculations, But the answer lies within. The answer lies within your project, right? Like, it's too broad of a question to be able to help you specifically without really knowing your data. Because maybe you mean image gen AI, right? And that's like a whole other discussion. And I'm not really up to speed on that pricing. You know, I wouldn't be the best resource for that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Maniam, there's two ways to look at that. But you know, I don't think that you want to be looking outside. You want to be looking at the quality of your data. What does your data look like after the transformation? Right? Because your stakeholder could be telling you, oh, we need you to prep us because we have 10,000 documents. Okay, great. But it turns out that 30% of those have tokens under, have text under 30 tokens. So it's not really usable. So you don't have 10,000 documents. You have 7,000 documents. So that's your load, right? So yeah, I mean, you have to do this. Like, this is the work of a data scientist when you're investigating this type of stuff. Because like the answer lies within, like I said, right? So I hope that helps you. Feel free to let me know if you have more questions. It's an interesting question. But like I said, just a touch too broad. Alpers, welcome. I think it's your first time. And hello from Turkey. Cool. I'd love to go to Turkey someday. For those of you, most of you are not going to know this movie. Excuse me. Most of you are not going to know this movie because you're too young, right? I know I have a young audience, right? Like, the majority of my audience is under 34 years old. But if you guys want, you know, if you guys are like into old school movies, well, I guess it's not really that old school, but it is now. Check out a movie called Midnight Express. It's it takes place in Turkey. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but if you guys want to check out like a good classic movie with like good acting, you know, great story, all of that, and it's a true story, by the way. Check out the movie Midnight Express. It takes place in Turkey, but that's a really good movie. Really good movie. DSC, what metrics or benchmarks do you recommend for assessing data quality? Too broad of a question, right? I mean, what kind of data are we talking about? And why do you need it to be quality? You don't always need it to be quality, right? You need it to be quality if you have 10,000 records, but you probably don't need it to be quality if you have 10 million records, right? Two different discussions. So yeah, too broad. Let me know. Leo says, is it about implementing AI in systems and networks and analyzing the logs? Can you elaborate more, Maniam? Okay, good question, Leo. It's possible that I completely misunderstood, right? Yeah. Yeah, so Maniam, if you want to add more detail there, you know, might help. But the answer is not always external, guys. Sometimes you have to, you know, do the work yourself. Yeah. So, reminder for everyone for tomorrow. Sundays, I tend to do longer sessions. We've never gone less than 2 hours. We've done 3 hours before. And right now, we've just kicked off a series where all of us collectively are creating an entire data science project from beginning to end. So last week was part 1. We learned about getting the contracts in place with the client. Excuse me, sorry, I got such a dry throat this morning. We learned about getting the contracts in place with the client. Now we're ready for the planning. So tomorrow we're going to be very heavy on agile planning. If you want to learn about agile planning, come tomorrow. Come join the series, 1500 GMT. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I know some of you only attend on Sundays because they're good sessions. But Feel free to come. You know, if you're new, it makes for a really good session. So I hope to see you guys there. Well, if you're Elon Musk, Leo says if you're Elon Musk, you can just pretend the quality of your model is great by having a guy with a mic playing the model. I agree, Leo. Yeah, if you guys want to comment on the Elon Musk droids, I don't know. Did you guys see some of those videos out there? Did you guys see the Tesla stock price yesterday? Not a good day to be a Tesla stockholder last night. Not a good day. Monium says, understandable, Dennis. Volume, quality of data, type of problem to solve, and complexity of the model itself. Yeah, Monium, absolutely. And also, I mean, are you going to do it in-house or are you going to outsource it, right? Quite a difference in cost there, right? So yeah, I mean, the different items that you bullet pointed there, that's the work of a data scientist, right? Like this is where the rubber meets the road, as we say. Speaking of F1, this is the rubber hitting the road, right? But yeah. Yes, it includes as well system designs for AI, network requirement utilizing InfiniBand or lossless Ethernet techniques, and type of CPU, GPU needed, and sizing them, etc. Oh, wow. I mean, is this a class assignment? What is this? But how long do you have for this project? I mean, if you're just designing these systems and then you're going to implement them, this is like a multi-year project. Jeez. I hope you have a few years to work on this, Monium. I mean, if you're talking about, you know, bringing in your own servers and your own broadband, this is like a 3-year project, my guy. Leo says droids, the cars, seriously. Yeah, so let's review. They had the droids. They had like that little bus or that, you know, whatever that rolling toaster box was, right? And then they also had the car at the very end, right? The robo-taxi, right? Which was kind of dumb because who has a taxi that only has 2 doors? When's the last time you saw a 2-door taxi in real life? Even Uber doesn't allow that, right? You can't do Uber in a truck or a car that only has 2 doors. Yeah, so the Tesla event yesterday, guys, if you're a data scientist and you're looking at it with a critical eye, danger, danger. Danger, danger. A lot of this stuff was, you know, just 100% fake, right? Let's call it what it is. So, very interesting stuff from the Tesla. If you guys haven't seen any, go on Twitter. There's a million posts about it. I'm assuming it's still trending. But yeah, not a good look for Tesla and the AI side. Well, at least if you know what you're doing, right? But Elon is really good at wowing people who just don't know any better. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for all the time that we've spent. Really appreciate all of you. Great questions today. Lots of new viewers today. Geez. So again, if you're new, join us tomorrow. We're going to have a longer tutorial. We're going to be very heavy on Agile planning. So if you're curious about Agile, you've heard about it, you don't know anything about it, we're going to take a ground up approach to it. A really good time for you to learn from it. I'm going to figure out this collar so it doesn't look like that on screen. Oh my gosh. But yeah, really appreciate you guys. And again, lots of craziness happening in the world. So please take care of yourselves and take care of your families. And I'll see you guys next time.